We've got another garage project today. What we have here is a BoonDock TearDrop camper. It's a pretty sweet little rig. It's got an AC, a kitchen, queen size bed, pretty decent little size here, and we need to do a little bit of modification. So our buddy over here installed this giant box, and because of that, he would like this to be extended because he gets a little bit close when backing up. So to make it a lot nicer, if we move our pivot point from here to about 20 something inches here. May look a little interesting when it's all said and done, but should be just as strong, if not stronger. We're going with a much heavier gauge steel here. We've got some box tubing, so that by itself is a pretty strong unit. And essentially, what we're gonna do here is get a setup, something like that. So this will actually go about there, and then that will be our new setup here. So we're moving our pivot point about 20 inches, maybe about 18 inches forward. And that will do a few things for the camper here. It'll give them a much greater turning radius in reverse, so we won't jackknife as quick. It'll move a little bit of the tongue weight actually a little bit out further, which will make it just slightly more stable. I don't really know how much, but the geometry is there. But the reason we've got this giant box installed here is because it now contains all of the electrical charging system for the solar panel unit that he's got. It's got his propane tank for the kitchen that it's got. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna unbolt this jack here, see what we can remove on the hardware side, and then we've got to grind and cut this weld out, and we're gonna completely remove this whole unit off of here. So we got weld here, going down along here, does go down along here, does not go up here, and is not welded here either. So, shouldn't actually be too much grinding, but it will be quite a bit of grinding and quite a bit of hammering. Safety. This guy is dangerous. I've been whacked by that thing a few times. I do not use a cutoff wheel without a face shield. I'm not messing with that guy. So close. Oh, there's two tacks right where I can't get anything to them. But if I can get it to pivot enough, I can get it to snap. You just gotta go up, down, up, down, up, down, left, right, and it'll come right off. Oh boy. What we're gonna do is we're gonna recess this into here, and we've got a mark on the bottom, and we're gonna cut it flush on the top, but essentially this will just go right in there, slide into about here, and then it'll just get welded out. There will be a little bit of a gap on the bottom. So I'm gonna cut that out with a cutoff wheel, and we're gonna jam it in there and see what happens. How about it? Yeah, we cooking. We gotta clean up some metal so we get some nice welds on this guy. We've got it cleaned up pretty well. I've got some bevels on the top and the sides, so when we weld that in, we'll have a good amount of meat to bite on there. Now, the main thing is that we get this straight. If it is not straight, it's gonna look really funny going down the road. I'm gonna get this thing clamped in here to the best of my ability. And then I'm gonna put a tack right here where my left thumb is. And we will be TIG welding it because we don't have a MIG welder. But should be fine. If I have to do a second pass, I'll do a second pass. Let's see how we can straighten this thing with the trailer. Because that is literally all we have here. Now we make square. Here we are. To get a start with getting it square, what I've done is I've taken my degree finder and I've come off the edges here till it is square with both sides. So ideally, these are where they're supposed to be, and being square to these means I'm square with the rest of the trailer. Problem is, I have to verify that. Yeah, that's the problem. I have to verify that. I can't do this without verifying that. That's just as simple as it gets. If you don't verify that, the whole thing is, I mean, that's the most crucial part of the whole friggin' thing. I'm gonna try a T-square first. The two very good tools. If those don't work, a string line will do it. 3 5/8. 3 5/8. On the money. No way. So that did work. Squaring it up with this did make it square with the frame. I mean, as much as you can trust what I've done here, but I've got a T-square clamped solid to the frame, and then I've got a square clamped solid to the T-square with the speed square on top of here, taking a distance measurements from one end to the other end, and it was equal. 3 5/8. We are square. We are as square as it's going to get square. I'm gonna tack this thing up. Did you see any of that? Probably not. Looks good. 3 and a 32nd, maybe under 5/8. 3 and a 32nd under 5/8. That's it. We are square. The wind is kicking up. It'd be nice to do this in the garage and not outside. We're looking good. We've got it all nice and solidly welded, so that's pretty awesome. Sturdy enough to hold itself back up. So all we've got left to do here, so we gotta get this guy installed. We're just gonna go with 3 bolts, 1, 2, and 3. So we get bolted to it, just like that. And then we also gotta move the chains forward, so they no longer reach the back of the car. So we're gonna move this forward 6 inches, is what we calculated to be enough length to hook up to it, and then this is done. Striker. I haven't had to look for a striker in a long time. I know I got a torch. 250 PSI on the acetylene. We hit a limiter on this one. That's inconvenient. Here to have an issue with our regulator. Yeah, my oxygen regulator's fucked up, so I'm having to do this really weird. sketchy than I would have liked it to be, but you know, you're gonna work with what you got. My air regulator doesn't regulate, so we had to get a little tricky, but you know, done. Hell yeah, your chains are at the perfect height.
I'll let you know.
Have a good one. We got that one finished. Not a bad project. All right, guys. See you on the next one.